Hey fam, and welcome to Storytime with Yaz. If you have not tuned in before, welcome to my channel, and welcome to my first of what will be hopefully many Myers-Briggs videos this year. I have been having huge revelation on teaching identity through Myers-Briggs, so please, if you are interested in this, stay tuned, ask me questions. Let me know how you feel down in the comments below, and what you're thinking, what you would like to know, understand, and all of that kind of stuff, because I would love to be able to help you. So today I'm just going to give you a brief overview of how I got to where I am now in my understanding and knowledge and teaching. So yeah. Early in the year, in 2018, I actually was in the States, and for some reason I just kept feeling compelled to ask people what type they were. And it was really interesting because I was kind of finding out which types I got along with better and which types I wasn't getting along with so well, and I was kind of understanding on a little bit of a deeper level how I worked within my type, and all of that kind of stuff. So it was very interesting, and it was there was like a few things that I kind of briefly looked up, and I was like, I've never heard of this stuff within Myers-Briggs before. So, and one of them was the function stacks, because I had an ENFP friend who basically was like, ENFPs and INFJs are going to work really well together. And I was like, but why? And so I had a little bit of a look into it, and I found it super interesting, and I then understood why I got along with so many ENFPs, and how we drew out of each other different things that maybe we didn't normally talk about with other types. So that was hugely cool and fun and interesting to me. And then in about August, I stumbled across Frank James' channel, who talks about INFJs, which is both his type and my type. And I just was getting so much revelation. I was getting so hit by some of the things that he was saying about INFJs, and I was just like, there is so much more to this than we give it credit for. And so I thought it would be really cool to just kind of start sitting with knowing who I am within my personality, as well as knowing who I am in Christ, and kind of bringing them together. So over the course of like about a month or so, I was getting pretty deep personal revelation about myself. And then at youth camp this year, I had a conversation at camp that really just sparked this thing inside of me that's like, it's actually possible to teach identity and know when someone else isn't acting like themselves through this. So maybe there's something on it. And at the time, around that time, I was seeing a lot of people who were saying that they knew what their identity in Christ was and all of this kind of stuff, but then for whatever reason they were just choosing to act in a way that they knew wasn't right. And it was bothering me, and I was just like, there has to be a way for us to actually move forward as believers in this, and there has to be a way for us to have permission to be ourselves within this. And so I decided to just kind of dig into it one day with one of my friends that I was kind of a little bit upset with in a way, because there was just so much going on for her, and I was like, dude, you're not actually acting like yourself, and this is why I know it. And I sat there, and it was easy for me because I'm an INFJ, she was an ENFP, and I knew that our functions were in the same order but opposite to each other. And I literally just wrote everything out on a napkin for her, and she was like, this actually explains what's going on. This is really helpful. And I was like, wait, I kind of just did that on a whim, so hoping it would work. And so I've been kind of utilizing it and seeing if it's been helpful within the context of discipleship. And most of the people that I'm in contact with, that I've been working through this with, have actually found it really beneficial. So I thought, you know what, New Year, it's time to start talking about this. So yes, so here we go. I think for me personally, understanding who I am within my personality and who I am in Christ in conjunction with each other has been really beneficial in feeling released and knowing that I'm acting within myself, and knowing when I'm getting to a point where I'm getting like tired or frustrated or upset, so that I can tap back into instead of like kind of living and sitting in my inferior function, to tap back in to my dominant function and resolve and solve issues. And it was interesting because in the process of this revelation that I was having, our creative pastor actually did a brief message on, I think it's in Ephesians, where it says the glory of God will cover you in your weaknesses. And I was sitting with this revelation, sitting with what I was learning, and being like, when we expose and accept what our weaknesses are, we can actually invite God into our weakness and ask for his help to bring us back to our dominant function. So going from our inferior function to our dominant function with Jesus, so that we can resolve the issue. Because another thing that I was kind of tapping into and understanding was that our inferior functions are actually how we're meant to talk to Christ, how we're meant to talk to Jesus, how we're meant to talk to God, like in our brains. And then our extroverted functions are how we're supposed to interact with the world. So having this little light bulb moment actually really pushed me forward into this kind of place where I was like, okay, so if I know how I act, I know when I'm not acting right. So if I understand other types, if I understand other personality types that aren't my own, then I can actually witness with my own eyes and see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears how when other people might not be acting like themselves. And because my dominant function is actually introverted intuition as an INFJ, I actually use that to store stuff about people in my brain, so I can see when something isn't how it always is. And then because I'm an extroverted feeler, and one of my spiritual giftings is actually I can feel a room, I can feel what's going on with people. I'll tap into what they're feeling when I'm with them. And so I know when someone is kind of hiding something or lying about something or whatever, and I'm using my discernment within that to actually draw out what's happening and what's going on. And often people will say stuff to me that they won't even realize helps me to resolve what's going on for them in their mind. And so when I've been tapping into that, and I've been noticing, because I already knew that I saw the patterns, but since learning this, I've recognized the broader pattern, and I just didn't know that what I was looking at was pattern based. So now that I know that, it's actually helpful to kind of go, okay, like this is why I feel this way, because it's an introverted function, I'm not talking about it. So when I feel it, I just make a judgment call. So it's actually helped me to put legs behind why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. And within that, it's helped me to not get trapped in my head about it, and it's helped me to actually talk to the right people in order to get resolution from problems for them as well. So I'm really excited to talk more about not only my own type, but what I'm seeing and noticing in other types as well. So if you want to know more, comment down below which personality types I should do first, because I'll be doing the videos weekly, and we'll see what happens. Obviously I'll probably start with INFJs because I'm one, and then we'll move through some of the other types. I might do ENFP next, and then we'll see what goes from there, because a lot of my friends are ENFPs. So to all you ENFPs out there, I love you. I hope you're having a good time watching about me and INFJ. Yeah, so that's about all for today. Keep tuning in, and if you have questions, please let me know. Comment down below anything that you might be wondering about each type, like, hey, I'm this type and I never understand this type, why is that? Or something along those lines. So yeah, and I'll see if I can help you resolve issues and conflicts that you might be having with different types just through my understanding and my awareness of watching the people around me. So yeah, let me know what's good, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.